Hey, good morning. Doing a video today on exercise and walking. So the question comes up, is walking exercise? And that's a common thing these days. The short answer is yes, it is exercise. The other part of the question is it enough? Is it enough to prevent getting aches and pains in our shoulders, back, hips? And I'll say on that one, the answer is many times no. And there's a reason for that. So is it good? I mean, as a general rule, yeah, exercise is good. I mean, there's plenty of studies that are out there showing lowered blood pressure, heart rate, body fat, just physical abilities tests, body mass index, cholesterol, depression rate, 6-minute walk test. I could go on. So many benefits certainly of walking, and seems to run around somewhere around 7,000-8,000 steps seems to be what's recommended in general for folks to hit as a threshold. Studies vary on how many, but generally counting steps, tracking them with things like Fitbits, a good thing. And I think it's gotten people more active, more aware of it, more conscious. So I think it's fantastic. I think the piece that's missing, though, from the kind of the walking craze, if you will, is the key question. This kind of gets into more injury prevention and making sure we stay healthy too from pains. Is asking the key question is not just are we walking, but are we being challenged? And I think that's the piece that sometimes gets overlooked. So we did your walk, and maybe it's 15, 20 minutes. I don't know. You did X number of steps. You tracked it in your watch. Fantastic. The question is, did you feel challenged? Did you feel like you got pushed with it? And I think that's a key piece, really key piece to know. Are you building muscle? Are you challenging your heart and lungs towards something more? And that's the key piece. So, and thankfully we have things like I said, all the watches and rings and the wearables that we can use these days to track that kind of stuff. So exercise defined as an activity requiring physical effort carried out to sustain or improve health and fitness. So physical effort. So I think that the key is in there, like I said, with the challenge part of it. So yeah, I think great question is to do the walk and get back into, hey, did I feel like I was challenged when I did that? That's a great question to ask, maybe as opposed to some magical number of steps to take per day, although those are fine as guidelines. Probably a better thing for those who want something even more specific to get that push. And once again, I think this is really the key for folks and key for injury prevention, which is why I'm doing this, is something more specific. So we have a couple more specific metrics, if you will, to think about. So if you're doing walking, to think about when you've got the heart rate tracker on there, to do a simple equation to see if you're pushing yourself or being challenged as a heart rate check. So you take the number 220, subtract your age, take that number there, and then just simple calculator, and then take that number times 0.6. That's your lower end of your heart rate zone, 60%. And then take that 220 minus your age number again, times it by 0.7. So that's your 70%. That's your upper end. You should be between that lower number and that upper number, 16, 70%. You want to be making sure your heart rate is getting up to that zone. That's a sign you're pushing yourself and challenging yourself enough to get above like 40, 50% of your heart rate or your resting heart rate to get 60 to 70%. I'll put the equation on the screen here too in an example. While you're walking to know, yeah, hey, I'm challenging myself enough to get into that zone to be pushing my muscles, be pushing my heart and my lungs to be getting thicker, stronger, and doing better. That challenge. So that's really key. So that's a heart rate method to do that. Like I said, they're on all the Fit watches and whatnot. So that's a heart rate way to do that. The second way to do that in an objective way, as opposed to like the general question I asked earlier, like I said, is to say to yourself when you get done with your walk or while you're doing your walk is 1 to 10, how hard am I working? And ideally you want to land somewhere in that 6 to 8 zone, I would say. So if you're doing your walk, great. There's people who can go fast and they can chuck it down the street. They can do it for a half hour, 45 minutes, and they'd still probably give it a 3. They're not working, so that's not high enough. So for some people, like maybe in a nursing home, they take that 30-foot or 40-foot walk. Yeah, that's an 8, just getting down the hallway with a walker. So for them, the answer is yes. So they've met the criteria. So for the walker who's maybe at a 3 out of 10, they've got to find a way to make it harder. So anyhow, with your walk, based on the speed that you walk, maybe the distance you walk or time, if you get to 6, 7, 8, and you're sustaining that, you've gotten the challenge. You're meeting the criteria. So 2 tests that you got the heart rate way of looking at it. You got the 1 to 10. So if you're looking for something very measurable and objective, those are 2 ways of doing that. Or just the simple, hey, do I feel challenged? I think are the keys. Those are keys to injury prevention. After you get done doing those, and you say, hey, I'm not getting the challenge. I'm not getting the challenge. I need something. What can I do? So with the walk, you can try faster. You can try longer, obviously within reason for what amount of time you have available. You can try wearing some ankle weights. If you've got a treadmill, you can go on an incline. So whatever's going to get you, to that 6, 7, 8 on that 1 to 10 scale for a challenge, or if you're tracking your heart rate, once again, to get you up in that 60, 70%. So if you're doing one of those 2 things, you're nailing it. So those are some ideas on how to take the walking and make it harder, to challenge yourself, and you'll hit it, and you'll probably get done. You'll be like, yeah, I had a little workout. You'll feel a little uncomfortable, and that's good. We want to feel a little uncomfortable. So the second thing you could do is say walking just doesn't do it, and if you're in pretty good shape and you're like, hey, I'm walking pretty fast. I've already put in at least half hour, and that's enough for me. Then I would say is probably need something for some kind of resistance training program to really challenge you. So maybe that be work with maybe it's finding a physical therapist, working with them, or a personal trainer. Find a good exercise class, something you can do where you have some resistance training. You'll be probably challenged with that. So find someone who can design a program for you. Maybe you can try finding a program online. That gets a little tough to figure stuff out doing it that way though. But finding a program that you can get some resistance training to really challenge yourself, because that's a really important piece. So yeah, in summary, is walking exercise? Yeah, definitely exercise. Lots of good benefits. We want to stay active. We want to put steps on. Those aren't bad things. But really, we need that challenge in our life. And I mean, I'd say that goes beyond the physical too, but we're talking about walking today. But just we need challenges to keep us sharp, to keep us growing. So yeah, hope these methods are helpful. Thinking about how to either take walking to the next level with walking itself or something else, and to get that challenge and really to make sure your exercise, you're getting the maximum benefit out of it. So anyhow, thanks for watching. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up or subscribe, and I'll keep them coming. Thanks.